the activity of making pots and of firing works of art in clay have also been an exercise in the limits and possibilities of language. And that is one of the most extraordinary theses of his most recent book, The Potter's Book, which is really an assembly of all of his knowledge about clay, including meditations on Japan and Jutland, on slipware, on colours, textures, forms, all kinds of things, which, as he says in one poem, teach us the same things about poetry as they teach us about the making of pots. So here is a wonderfully serious artist in various modes of art making who has contemplated and thought about the making process all his life. One of the most, I think, serious persons I've ever encountered who can speak with similar authority about the plastic arts and the verbal arts. And so it's a great pleasure to introduce Louis Mulcahy, potter and poet and master of both.
Oh, I wish I knew who that guy was. Thank you very much. Before I do anything, I would like to thank Pat Cotter for all his support over the years, and especially for inviting me here to this reading. The Literature Centre are fantastic, and I love this festival. I've been doing it coming for many years now. All the poems in this book spring from clay in one form or another, and I've used that basic material as a foundation for reflection on many themes. And I'll start with the first poem in the book. It's on page 9, the Zen Tea Bowl. And before I read it, I should mention that about 900 years after the overthrow of the Song dynasty in China, pottery from that era had a huge influence on the Western craft renaissance of the early 20th century. The Zen Tea Bowl. On a disc on a shaft linked to a flywheel spun by click of foot, potters of the sun threw clay voices that sing down to us. Successive hands, harmonizing discords, brought balance on the palm. A weight for shape, rewarding eye and heft, like stoneware from Jian. Its black Tenmoku glaze with precipitated patterns, tortoiseshell, tea dust, hare's fur, partridge feather, and oil spot. All brought by the monk Isai Zenja to Japan to be the Zen Tea Bowl. And the second one is on the very next page, page 10. It's the rubric of tea. And the Japanese tea ceremony is a refined, almost religious ritual, performed with reverence for the Zen Buddhist aesthetic of wabi-sabi, which, amongst other things, holds that nothing is ever permanent, perfect, or finished. The good china. The china our mother brought out for the clergy bore a faint whiff of flick insecticide from the plywood back of the walnut cabinet. That china, thin as eggshell, brought images of afternoon tea in great Irish homes, or mystery in Maughams colonial homes. Brought hazy tales of Mongol trade on silk routes, terror of Genghis and Kublai Khan, travels of Marco Polo, and stories of exquisite porcelain, misnamed China by those who thought they were superior. Such China, an inquisitive boy could be scorched by its blue dragon, or drowned in its depths of red and gold. And then, false start. Lisbeth, a teenage au pair, went home to Denmark early in the 60s And about 3 months later, I followed her. I was dying to get her alone for a hug, but at first I had to be polite and take coffee with her mother. False start. My first meeting with her mother over hand-thrown cups was quiet. She didn't speak my language, nor I that of the Dane. Through smoke-ringed contemplation, I eased a foot beneath the table to find a leg I knew and stroked it with intent. No cup on saucer chatter betrayed my love's composure, but her agitated mother dropped ash.
Yeah.
And on the next page, 14, pilgrimage. That summer of 65, we cycled east Jutland, seeking clay workshops with ironclad chimneys rusting up their gables. Sadness veiled their tableware, its creamy glaze embellished by wavy bands of blue, already fated to disappear. For near the jaded kiln sheds, among discarded shards, lay an occasional plastic pot. Cadmium and silica dust. Cadmium's yellow breath drew us peeping through the door to where, in toxic fumes as the kiln fired, in rasping dust as it cooled, low window backlight outlined the cupped hands of the potter and the bent back of his apprentice, coaxing wonders from clay that spun through slanted beams above the gleams of wetted wheelheads. I worked in television and in Swedish television for about 12 years. Television was my university. It had just begun. There were amazing people working there who had come in from abroad, and I was learning from them all, and my eyes wide open and ears wide open when I was there. But we wanted to live by the mountains and the sea and bring the family up there, so we moved to a place in West Kerry, and we started a workshop. Pottery workshop. This is on page 26, put the door at Mulcahy. Put the door at Mulcahy. Oh yeah, the title of this poem derives from the name of the field in which our pottery stands. It's known as Unquailode, which can mean either narrow acre or narrow sod. Hence the name Put the door at Mulcahy, the pottery of the narrow acre. It's located in an Irish-speaking area, and it took many hilarious years before we learned any, or could master the Irish. But the door at Mulcahy. There's a name over our door, meaningless to most who pass. On our arrival 40 years ago, men who shouted dogs to round up hillside sheep could say who held each field 100 years before, could tell their stories, sing their songs, relay their joys, tragedies, and occasional good fortune, name their food, clothes, choose or none, their drownings. They told who married in, who married out, who stayed and hungered, who surviving steerage reached England or America to prosper or get lost in the abyss. They could trace the name and story of every field for miles, how it was created, drained, and tilled. They knew the poets and fiddlers, knew who built Nevoga, best man to tell the weather of the one to twist the Sagart, those who had the cures, good masons for dry walls. On Quailode, narrow acre, narrow sod, memories conflict. One of 4 adjoining fields known for soil and tuber, generations having hauled and spread baskets full of storm ground sand, with rotted straw and rich cow dung from the settlement at Clogher near its strand. Traditions change. On Quailode, not yet quite gone. And the next one, on page 41, is the hands. And for about 30 years, I made made very big pots, and because of that, the clay had to be very rough, and it cut the hands of us. The hands, those crooked, scarred sandpaper hands, with fingers scorched by red-hot pots, nails worn down by spinning clay, and palms repeatedly cut deep to white bone by splintered shards. The fissured flesh in Arctic slip, bruised knuckles battered out of sink, abraded, seared, abrasive hands, arthritic hands abandoned to rough consequence. Through years of repetition, still meet the mind's demands. And on page 49, Lucent Pink and Starry Sky. This was our first filing in Kerry, and it didn't work. Lucent Pink and Starry Sky. 36 hours later we closed down, hungry, tired and stiff, from looking up in wonder at the fairy tale translucence of the chimney's stainless steel. The kiln's first fire had failed. Too much diesel choked the oxygen. Nascent flames first finding air halfway up the lucent flue, which shimmered pink against the stars. Those colours had us sit through that Indian summer night on a green bank drenched by dew, marvelling at beauty, all of failure. And on page 51, through the kiln shed window, a tiny bird, tall on a lichened branch, sings tentatively a sky-grey dawn. Rain decaying will drop an occasional tear, and I will stand and tease the intangible bird, branch, coming rain? No, not these, but the emotion stirred in the intense moment. The black-headed bird of the shimmying branch tested my vulnerability. And on page 53, there's no better life than ours when things are going well. When every day is Christmas Day. Cracking the dust, peeping, trying to catch a shine from pots now all screwed, and listening for the dreaded pings would tell descent being too fast. Uneven shrinkage bringing rifled cracks of gulping pots, minus calculation. Times I heaved the bisque door on 500 cubic feet of wear, finding only smashed shards there. 3 weeks thrown wasted. And every time it happened, brought on by my impulsiveness, I was consoled by fresh resolve. Next time I'd be more measured. And as knowledge grew, self-control and patience held, so that what I thought I got, more than less as time went on. Now every opening is a Christmas morn. I'm a child again among new toys, finding favourites, grasping for the brilliant joys that make birth risks worthwhile. And on page 55, the danger of bottle kilns. In its heyday, there were 4,000 enormous coal-fired kilns in Stoke-on-Trent. They were wrapped in bottle-shaped brick buildings called hovels. They were up to 70 feet high. The skyline was utterly interspersed with everywhere. In 1950, there were still 2,000 of those ovens, belching smoke and smearing smog. By the time I got there in 2000, there were only a few dormant relics left. And people died young in Stoke from lung ailments. And Rudge, by the way, was the brand name of a popular heavy black bike. The danger of bottle kilns. Fred Tuncliffe spoke of long-gone days in Bennett's towns, when men all grimed by coal fired 2,000 belch black kilns of bottle shape in Burston, Longton, Dunston, Hannah, Stoke-on-Trent. He spoke of how as the evening sirens pierced the hull of mills, his father trudged the pot banks in a curled-down vomit of smoke to push his rug aslant against the slope he had free-wheeled 10 hours before. On cresting Golden Hill, he walked into the slanting sun, lungs coughing in the pristine air, the first since his descent to mould Etruria Marl. Fred said it was the smoke with his dad in the hearse at 88. And on page 56, the next page, we have Stokey's work all gone abroad. Most pottery making has moved from Stoke-on-Trent to the Far East, and with it the remnants of the unique Stokey dialect, which extended back to Middle English and had hints of Anglo-Saxon to it, and also gone are the colourful names of the trades and the craftspeople. Here are some. And by the way, there's mention here of Leatherham's dog. And Leatherham's dog was reputed to be so lazy that he had to lean up against the wall to have a pee. Stokey's work all gone abroad. Pottery's dialect, as foreign now as Punjabi, Mandarin, or Hindi. Artman and artware maker, bagroom boy and baller, bat maker, bankard man, baker, maker, shaper, batter man, biscuit rubber, and bottom knocker. Crank maker, clay blunger, tubal maker, wedger, all working on the banks like the fettler, flinter, fritter, who went at wom at night with herself indoors and kidda, were so senatucked by pot bank labour that like Leatherham's dog they lossoped on lolloping feet that smouldered, while those kiddas lolliker still whenever his cell chuntered, "Hold your noise!" And on page 66, Hakeldama in the valley of Hinnom, page 66. Hakeldama in the valley of Hinnom. Oops, that's the title. Hakeldama in the valley of Hinnom, bought by Judas 30 pieces, must be the best known potter's field. Such fields, when spent, caved, made low-cost burial places for the indigent, criminal, and fallen. But while their terracotta lasted, they kept village people busy, making pots for social living. Shattered fragments found on ancient sites and kitchen middens. Those relics, harmonized by history, had little grace notes in their lives that gave rise to silent sighs, the pleasures of reflection on quirks of hand and mind. Page 68. October 2001. Just 1 month after the airplane attack on New York, Elizabeth was making a television documentary on weaving in Egypt. And there were no tourists whatsoever, and certainly no American voices. October 2001. 1 month and 5,000 miles from the chaos that crashed from New York skies, we, lone visitors from the West, hastened through the night, uneasy focus of shouts from unlit taxis, ghosting through the pitch-black streets. Next morning, driving through a smell of oil-spoiled sand to film tapestries at the Wissa Wassef workshop near Giza, we squinted through orange haze at 3 enormous pyramids. So close, they seemed to squash the low suburban homes. And below, to our left, Al Darasa dump, compacted through 500 years, was grey with drifting kiln smoke. On that wasteland, outside scattered hovels, long boards of hand-thrown bowls dried beneath the shrieking sun. I jumped alone into that heat as Lisbeth and the film crew taxied on. No sound or movement from the site below the road, not even distant camel grunts or barks from heat-drained dogs. Then, out of that silent emptiness, little girls and boys swarmed like stinging bees, darting, smiling, healthy. Their soft brown limbs and clothes were patched and greyed by the midden's ashy life. I dithered, in fear of being misjudged if I yielded to their tugs towards homes and families' wares. I should have gone, would have gone, but timidity induced by Western propaganda killed the urge. Too late now, their homes are gone to progress as raised as those Manhattan towers. That silent night, we, pallid faces in the dark, heard again loud taxi shouts split the cooling air. But now, acclimatized, we realized it was not infidel, not kafir that they shouted, but the brotherly salutation, Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. And at the end, practically, we know what we know. My youngest granddaughter. We know what we know. A teen, nearly 3, lies heel-kicking on the floor and asking, "What is blue?" I point out to the sky, that is blue. I point to the sea, that is blue. But how does blue come in the sky and sea? Somewhere deep, the shadow stirs. That is a long, long story. What is long? Glancing past the blue vase in the window, I wish she had asked about cobalt blue. And here she is again, second last poem. In the continuum. In this poem I mentioned Doire and Doon Queen, and they are villages, the nearest villages to us, and they have graveyards. In the continuum, and this little girl is now 3 years older. And now it is a Cain who makes her early gifts from clay and unforced thought for mom and dad, and for her sister Leavon, who like that sister, just like that sister did when she was Etaine's age. And like many years ago, his dad and his 2 sisters had made presents. Her dad and her 2 sisters had made presents for their mother. And I'll read that line again. Many years ago, her dad and his 2 sisters had made presents for their mother. Though usually more than far, they often called her Lisbeth, called me Louis. Did it make a difference? I don't know. But I know the move to Kerry, with its farming, fishing ways, its close connection to its past, the customs, tales and music of the Irish language, sowed in them a sense of place and people who fetch up with lifelong neighbours in Doune or Doon Queen, all peaceful, couched in clay, settled on their backs and looking up. And the last poem in the book too. Testament. I, being of sound mind, freely assert that my fired bones shall substitute for the calcium carbonate in this ash blaze for a raku chalice I have thrown at bisque fire. When glazed, it shall be taken to Titi Cajon in Ballinair Kerry, where friends and colleagues from Doire and Mulcahy are invited to come and with due ritual enjoy a drink on me.